here, you have something more than just the radical on the bottom. So if it was just this problem, we've already done that kind of problem. This problem's a little bit different, so we use what's called the conjugate. The conjugate is just the opposite, right? The opposite sign. Everything else stays the same. The a's are the same, the square root of b's are the same, just one is positive and one is negative. The reason that we do that is because when we have the box, right, remember if we have like 2x here and negative 2x here, we'll call this 3 and 3. We'd have 9, and then we'd have 6x and negative 6x. That's going to make these cancel here, and that's going to be our goal. We want to get rid of them. This would make negative like that. Right, so we want to get rid of those middle terms there. So we're going to make one positive and one negative. So if I do that here, I would have the square root of 5. I'm going to use the positive version because I see the negative here, and so I want to use the positive one. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So I'm going to deal with my numerator first. I have 2 times the square root of 5, just 2 square root of 5, and 2 times positive 1 would be plus 2. On the bottom, it's a little bit trickier. You can use the box if you want, or I'm going to show you a trick. The square root of 5 times the square root of 5 would be just 5 by itself. The square root of 5 times positive 1 would be positive square root of 5. The negative 1 times the 5 would be negative square root of 5. And the negative 1 times the positive 1 would be negative 1. Okay, negative 1. So if we have a positive square root of 5 and a negative square root of 5, those are going to combine together to make 0. Right? And that's going to happen every single time that we have a conjugate because we have the positive 1 and the negative 1. Right? That's this positive 1 and negative 1 is what makes this happen. Those are going to cancel out right here. So from here, I would say, okay, I have 2 square root 5 plus 2 over 5 minus 1, which is 4. Right? You can leave it like that, or we can simplify it further. I see that all the numbers 2 and 4 can be simplified by dividing by 2. And notice I don't touch the radical there. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it's just square root 5, plus 2 divided by 2 is 1, over 4 divided by 2 is 2. This is my most simplified version here. See? This is a very complicated process, so we'll take another look at an example and hopefully continue working it out. We have here the number 8, and I'm going to multiply times the opposite of what I've got. So I've got the square root of 2 stays the same. The 3 stays the same. I see a minus here, so I'm going to use a positive. I want to use the opposite. All right. And then what I do to the bottom, I also have to do the dot. Just like that. So I'm going to write my fraction bar, use a long one here. So I have 4 times the square root of 2 is 4 square root 2. Then I have 4 times 3, which is 12. Then I have square root of 2 times the square root of 2. Anytime we multiply something by itself, we get just the 2 without the square root. And then I have the square root of 2 times the 3. So that would be 3 square root of 2. Right, so those are my 4 steps there. If you want to use the box, you're totally able to. But we can start to see how the pieces come together as well. So if I'm going to do the bottom one here, square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. Square root of 2 times 3 is positive 3 square root 2. I have negative square root of 3 times positive square root of 2. So negative 3 square root 2. And then finally, we'll use orange here, negative 3 times positive 3 would be negative 9. All right. From there, I'm going to combine some like terms if I have any. So I'm going to draw this fraction bar again. 4 square root of 2 and 3 square root of 2 make 7 square root of 2. 12 plus 2 makes positive 14 on top. On bottom, I see that positive 3 and negative 3, those are going to combine to make 0. And then I have 2 minus 9, which would be negative 7. I see here that all of the coefficients have 7 in common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide each of them by 7. So I have 7 divided by 7 is 1 square root of 2 plus 14 divided by 7 is 2 over negative 7 divided by 7 is negative 1. You can leave it like that. It's going to take some practice, guys. I know you can do it. Go ahead and try these ones on your own. I'll start you off on this one by telling you that we're going to divide by 3 minus the square root of 2, because that's the opposite. When I do the bottom, I also have to do to the top. Go ahead and try number 9, should be just like this one here. Number 10 is going to be just like this one. And you're going to show me when you're done, so I can check it off. All right,